What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Kinetic Impressions Movie News. I'm Arnie.
I'm Andy.
In the Yeah. All right, today we're going to be talking about Matrix Quattro. It's happening. It's coming. It's coming. It's happening. It's here. All right, my man. First of all, I want to ask you, do you remember when you first witnessed the majesty that is and was and still is The Matrix?
Yes, I loved it, man. I love The Matrix. I remember the first time I ever watched The Matrix, I was being babysat by my older brother's girlfriend.
Older brother's girlfriend. I love this story.
and like, she needed to find something that I could do while she was like chilling. So she just like...
Right.
I just rented this Blockbuster video.
Yeah. Here you go, blocky block.
And she's like, I gotta return it tomorrow, but you should watch it. And I was like, this is probably not the best thing to show a 9-year-old kid.
God, we were so young. Oh, dude, dude, can I tell you my story? So,
Yeah.
I watched it with my brothers. It was weird too, because like I'm 5 years younger than my brothers, so like we never really did shit together. But no, like the Matrix, because like me and my dad, so my dad divorced, my parents divorced. I always went to the movies with my dad, every fucking weekend, right? So we were definitely gonna go see Matrix, and then because it was the Matrix, everybody was hyped about this movie. I mean, everybody was hyped. They wanted to come. These teenage boys wanted to come and watch this movie with us. So we went to the theater. We were gonna watch the 7:20 showing, and then they wanted to watch something else. We watched, I believe we watched South Park Bigger, Longer, and Untied, because I think it came out at the same time.
Yeah.
And then we bought tickets to the 9:20 showing, so we watched 2 movies that day. And dude, when the movie was done, everything was completely done, and then Neo fucking flies up into the nether, and then it's just credits, and then it's just like the most badass fucking... I think it's like literally, what's that band? Killing in the name of dun you know. As soon as that goes on, everybody just starts applauding. Standing ovation, just like yeah, that was amazing. That's like the first or like last time I've ever seen in movies. And there was a standing up.
See, like, when I was growing up, that happened often to me. Like, the moviegoers were still enthusiastic to do that. Like, all the Lord of the Rings movies, especially when you get into the sequels and the Matrix movies, I remember watching, and people would just be like, you would hear the random shout, you know, like whenever, like, that gunner, I forgot what is in the Reloaded. He's like, he's keeping track of the screens. He's like, I don't even know, what the hell am I looking at? And then he just does this, like, in silence in the movie. He just goes, yes. Because, like, Neo shows up out of nowhere. You know what I'm talking about? Like, there's a Reloaded movie where,
dude, like, say what
someone's falling or dying.
Like they say, like, there are people out there who, like, poo-poo on the sequels, right? You know, not the best movies. Totally. There's some shit in those movies. There's some of the best stuff I've ever seen in an action movie. And you've totally hit a nail on the head when you're talking about the scene where Neo is like, oh, I have been teleported across the planet. Now I gotta fly to save my homies on the highway. And he like swoops in at the most craziest moment there in this highway chase scene and just like grabs people in the middle. He didn't even know he was gonna be there. And yes, that fucking moment was also amazing. One of the better moments of the Reloaded movies. Also, I do think Reloaded better than Revolutions, but I still like some stuff from Revolutions as well.
It just, I think it kind of leaves you unhinged because of the to be continued. Like, the cliffhanger really leaves you wanting more. So, like, I don't know. Like, Reloaded's great. I think Reloaded with the video game coming out really is.
Dude, the video game? I played the video game. I played it. I had it into the Matrix. It was so fucking like inventive, that video game.
Because it literally, like, Jada Pinkett Smith's in it, but like, who is this Asian dude?
They shot it for the video game alone, and it was kind of like a choose your own adventure thing. And the story was dope. It was J.D. Pinkett Smith and an Asian dude. No, not Asian. Like, it was J.D. Pinkett Smith. Yeah, and they were like, yeah, no, you never heard from him ever again. He was just a character for the video game, but it was dope. I actually really liked that. It was inventive storytelling, and it was actually like stuff shot. Dude, when the Matrix hit, it hit hard. It was legitimately like one of the first, like, at least in my lifetime, just like movies that just completely changed and like galvanized an entire people. Like America, like the planet was all like, "Oh, Matrix is the shit."
Arnie, let's get into a little bit of copyright infringement for a second.
All right, how bad?
Not that bad. Let's just.
All right. What's up? What are you doing? You want me to put that screen up?
No, yeah, I'm about to.
Incredible, and it's still a good movie, bro. It holds up. But the first one definitely holds up a lot.
I tried to cancel it before it said the Wachowski brothers.
Yeah, that's a thingy. They've changed genders. And like, I as much as I enjoy those movies, I can see why people don't like them, right? Because they were written super quick. They had to hit the ground running when Matrix hit because the studio wanted those movies made. They wanted to capitalize quick.
The first one wasn't, right? The first one was written really well, and it really was tightly, like what you would say is just a really tight script, I thought.
Yeah.
And then the next two, there's no way that all the thought and all the creativity was. I want to read you something, like one little thing, Arnie, because we were kind of talking about it earlier. I just want you to know. Do you know what the Nebuchadnezzar was in the Matrix?
Yeah, it was a ship.
Right. It was Morpheus' ship, right? It was the ship that Neo and Morpheus were on. Okay. I want you to listen to what Nebuchadnezzar II in the Bible ruled Babylonia. He is best known as the king who destroyed Jerusalem, the main home, and led away many Hebrews into captivity in Babylon. There's so many just like resemblances of history, or like just very like nods to history in all of that ship is going to be the one that betrays their home.
Yeah.
It's named after that in the Bible. That's insane to me, man. Like all these biblical references throughout the whole thing. Trinity, Neo being the one. I mean, obviously it's that Morpheus is the only one in tune with the old school Bible, and he still believes these old scriptures and prophecies. It was such a tight script. I loved everything about it, like everything that it brought. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely,
those were all crazy things to me.
It was just well written and just like tight, and like you could really feel that it was filmmakers making as much movie as humanly possible with the budget that they had. They definitely had new technology that they used too. Like that helps too, right? Like they really legitimately actually created technology for the movie, like the bullet time stuff, and then also to be able to kind of like get the angle where you just like literally move 360 degrees while somebody's in midair. That was created specifically from the Wachowskis. It was their brainchild. Like their entire like directing prowess was both in the technical and in the story. I should mention, because it's kind of true. It is storied and rumored that the Wachowskis actually stole the story from a black lady who wrote comic book stories. They had some sort of partnership with a magazine, and they basically had a production company where they just invited everyone to just kind of submit their stories to be in consideration to be partners with them. And it has been revealed that this woman, who was a comic book writer, I forget her name, did submit a story that was very similar to what The Matrix ended up being. And I believe a court of law actually gave her that actual, they gave her the credit because because of just the way that everything kind of panned out. Like, besides, like, that's, besides the point, the fucking Matrix was a shit. And the filmmaking was top notch. They elevated directing in a way, that a director in the 21st century should do. So that to me kind of like is pure directing, when like you not only are creating the story and everything, but you're also like creating visualization of it in a very like stark and creative way. And that's, the Matrix. Matrix was 100% like a technical feat of filmmaking, as on top of it, having a really good story.
Yeah, and then like I think we've talked about in our Matrix review that like it has so many things from Ghost in the Shell, from the original anime of Ghost in the Shell, and like how like a lot of the pieces that are known for the Matrix were taken from that.
Yeah.
And like, like that's something like we're gonna have influences and parallels, like visual parallels from those things all the time. I just wondered how they got, like, I'm still like, it's still unfathomable to imagine like how they got that much money from the studio while being kind of unproven. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
they literally made an entire movie to get proof. They made a movie called Bound.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
They made a movie named Bound, which was literally like Warner Brothers like, here's a little bit of money. We like the script. Go make something else first. Bound was their first studio picture. And because of that, they got Matrix, man. Like, let's talk about the future. So, we've talked about at length The Matrix. It's fucking great. I watch that movie if you've never watched it. It's legitimately one of the best movies ever made. The Wachowskis, not both of them are returning, only one of them.
Really?
Because I don't know what's going on there, but one Wachowski is coming back to finish the story. And also, it has been reported that Keanu Reeves is back, Carrie-Anne Moss is back, and so is Jada Pinkett Smith. So, Drew, what do you think this thing ends up like? What do you think of Matrix 4 looks like? Also, notable mention, Neil Patrick Harris is here as well, and so is the Merovingian character, the Frenchman, the weird Frenchman. That's where the sequels kind of go a little off rails for me. When they introduce this weird French character that's also a machine, I don't know. It gets weird.
Dude, I know it gets weird, but I feel like it was one of those characters that I think that character was already made, and they just couldn't fit it tight enough into the original script, and it was kind of half-heartedly put into Reloaded or something. Because I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pause. I loved I love that character because I love how poetic he's talking about, like the orgasm being a computer program that he can write into a fucking dessert, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that really was poetry. And like, and then when you told me, I'm sorry, like I'm still talking about this, but like when you told me, like, it was like them finding themselves in their writing, that hit me really hard. But what I think about Matrix 4 in the future is, like, I'm hoping, and like I can pray, but like I'm hoping it's just one of those things where like 10 years has advanced, or 20, just like the real 20 years has gone by, and like maybe Neo is now Morpheus, and he's still going around kind of keeping the legend true, and kind of like trying to fulfill his prophecy and finding like the next young gun. And maybe there's not a next young gun. Maybe it's probably going to be a female. So like, I think that's going to be awesome. I think that in that scenario, I mean, you see there's people, Christina Ricci is, slated.
Maybe she's a young gun, right? Maybe Christina Ricci's that new, maybe she's the new Neo. I've been down. Christina Ricci needs a movie, man. Like she's a great actress, man. She definitely deserves something.
I'm a little sad that or Neil Patrick, what is Neil Patrick Harris gonna do?
I have no idea.
Without Agent Smith, Agent Smith was the villain of our time.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do with Megatron or Optimus Prime not being there, man?
Yeah. For sure. I don't know, man. Maybe he could be the bad guy. That's a good point. Maybe Neil Patrick Harris could be the bad guy. That'd actually be kind of cool. I would totally watch that. I think he definitely has a villain in him for sure. I kind of am of mind that like I really want there to be more overtones of the like the spiritual realm and stuff like that. Because like another thing that Matrix did that nobody really talks about is actually kind of like open people's mind's eye to its spiritual like understanding and awakening of Buddhism and like all these other things. Like there's literally philosophy classes taught of the Matrix because of the cynicism, like the overarching like both Western and Eastern religious cynicism that's within the movie. Yeah. And like that's kind of where the sequels lost me, because they really tried to bring those aspects out, but they really didn't explain them really well. Like one way that I remember that was like really kind of they were trying to ham-fist it in the sequels was like they were like, oh, there are programs that can go through walls, and there are programs who have like extraordinary strength, and that maybe that's why there's these stories of ghosts and werewolves. And like I got that, and it was just kind of a ham-fisted at us, but then it really didn't have any weight, didn't really carry, didn't really feel it. But like that kind of cynicism they were trying to bring into the sequels, but I just didn't feel it. It was just really evident in the first one. So like to me, I want to see a Matrix in its like full form as a like incredible action film.
Yeah.
First and foremost, because the action in that movie is insane, crazy, no one's ever seen before. And look, like Keanu Reeves still got it. He still got it, bro. I remember one quote that he gave once when he was in an interview about like, well, why he was working so hard for John Wick. He said that he learned in the Matrix that he is the conduit for the audience. The audience goes as far as he goes. So if he is able to train and become the thing that the audience sees as being unworldly and like incredible, then the audience will follow the script and the story and be there with the characters. That just blew my mind because it's the truth. Like the only way that The Matrix works so well is because all of the actors, including Keanu Reeves, worked their asses off to learn Kung Fu and to learn the choreography and to learn the fighting and the shooting and thingies and the stuff, right? It gets believable. Like it was the first time that an action movie took the camera and went about 5 feet back and actually showed you the action. You know, like that never happened before. And it was because the characters and the actors worked their asses off to create an incredible moving picture. So absolutely, I want the next Matrix to be an incredible action movie. I would like there to be some really like interesting ways that the plot reveals spiritualism, right? Because that's kind of the cool thing that was in the background of the first Matrix. And then obviously just a story that really kind of goes along the same lines as good versus evil. And one man or one thing versus an entire enemy created of the most powerful, most technologically advanced beings. You know, that's what I want to see, you know?
Yeah, and like that's what's going to be difficult. Like I feel like in the beginning there was this perfectly built up anti-hero in the Agent Smith and like Neo.
Right.
And like they grew together, but they were kind of starting to finally understand each other.
Right.
And I thought that's what built the first one so well. And yes, the last 2 episodes of it were rushed, but it really did. You really got the exact sense of how they built up the villain and the hero in those 3 movies. And so like to reawaken something where I think it kind of got nicely, closed. It was a nice ending to me.
It was a kitschy ending. Yeah, it was a kitschy ending. It definitely felt good.
I should say, like, it wasn't a great ending, but it felt like they did wrap up the things they needed to wrap up, right? Like the story's closed in the way that it could for them. So I don't know, like, what we could reopen. There's a lot of comedians in this list of people on IMDb, and I think that's interesting. I mean, like, I don't want to just say that it's Neil Patrick Harris, but it's that kind of type of character that's in this that makes me think, like, well, what is this gonna bring? Like, what are you gonna bring by bringing in, like, the guy who like one of the guys who was like Jonathan Groff, who was King George in Hamilton. Like, that's so interesting.
Oh,
like,
sweet. Oh, yeah, yeah. That guy's getting a lot of play lately, for sure. He's in a lot of commercials, too. Guy with the dreads. Yeah, for sure. I looking at this cast list, I really like the idea you had that Christina Ricci is going to be like the new Neo type character, and that Neo might be the Morpheus character, kind of bringing her into the world. I really, really am into that idea, and I do appreciate you bringing that up for sure. Quickly, before we wrap things up on the Matrix 4,
just to add on to that idea, I did think like there is some kind of trifecta going on. Like, I don't want to say the words, but a holy trinity.
Oh, yeah.
Because there is like Jessica Henwick in there, who is of like, she is of some sort of Asian descent. There is the Christina Ricci character. There is Priyanka Chopra, who is like of Indian descent. So like, I feel like there is gonna be some sort of like, you and I could finally get.
This is a total girl power movie.
You and I could totally get
the
Charlie's Angels movie that we've been wanting. So I just wanted to talk about that, like, because think about like what this could be, and those three people are on the top of the list, and the only people above them are Carrie-Anne Moss and Keanu Reeves. And so like, I'm just taking that, and I'm being over exaggerated with that. And like, when I take that concept of saying like, maybe these three girls are the new, basically like the young bloods of the Matrix. I think these are strong, good, low caliber, not low caliber, but like, these actors are
up and coming female actresses,
but like, they could literally hire them to go do 3 more movies. You know what I'm saying?
For sure,
like,
for cheap, right?
That's what I'm thinking about. Like, I don't want to say anything about them, but like, I'm thinking like, okay, we can hire them to do 3 more movies after they've passed the torch. This could be a total pass the torch from from Keanu and Carrie-Anne to these 3 people.
What if Christina Ricci is their daughter? What like?
I didn't even think of that. Oh my god!
What if that's happening? Maybe it's a family.
Like, how do you have a child? Yeah, like, what if all 3 of them were their child? They just.
What if she's actually just like a sprite of the Matrix, but also is of both Neo and Trinity?
Yeah,
I'm getting crazy over here. Just thinking about the combinations. I do like the girl panel angle.
Like Trinity didn't even like have sex. She somehow had this like Christina Ricci baby though.
I do like my man Dr. Manhattan also being a part of this. Yes. I don't know how to say his name, but like this guy is an amazing actor. You've watched, right? You watched Watchmen, right?
Oh yes, I have.
So good. I absolutely, that's the best part of that whole thing, is that they reimagined Dr. Manhattan and he made this guy play him. I love that so much. It was so on the nose. I love how like Damon Lindelof took Watchmen as it was and literally took the same kind of like shift of also being topical and just placed it right in the middle of that story. He completely usurped it and put his own spin on it, right? And then made this guy Dr. Manhattan. I love that, because that's what Watchmen deserved to be, right? To actually be something of the time and being topical. But like, back on the Matrix, I love this. I love the actors here. I love the girl power angle with all these young actors, women joining Christina Ricci. I love that idea as well. Again, man, I am rooting for the Matrix 4. I hope it's fantastic. Quickly, before we end this up, a little bit of spoilers for the movies. My favorite parts. When Trinity and Neo go and shoot up that building. Oh, God. Just incredible feats of filmmaking. It's the reason we have so many shootings in America. I was just so enthralled. I wanted to shoot a gun so bad after that. When they rescue Morpheus, incredible scene, incredible action scene. In the prequels, the actual like Zion creature fight at the end, where it's like a billion little mechanoid like worm things floating through the city to destroy it, and then the small like walkable mechs just shooting at them. I thought was incredible. Like that was like towards the end of filming, so I know they were able to render that out. I was incredible. Any memorable moments of the Matrix franchise to you, sir?
No, like Zion is the ancient hill of Jerusalem, so like I think that is another parallel that like I thought that's just so crazy that like how many like they had to have had some guy like reading the Bible in the back of the like that checks out.
Yeah.
Like just renaming stuff. No, there's so many moments. Like I mean I'll always like yes the bullets, like the escaping bullets. My favorite moment will always be him, and like I still do it to this day when I touch a rope, is him re-gripping the helicopter chain.
Yeah.
And it's like a whip. It like he whips it and then like to get that extra grip, and then he's just like going through roof tiles until he gets to the roof, and they're like, what? There's no way he's gonna do this. And he literally whips the helicopter. Like he doesn't he can't like actually like he doesn't have the strength to actually pull it, but he knows that he can bend the helicopter's like trajectory to save Trinity. I think that's one of the most beautiful moments that obviously is like one of the best, what you were saying earlier, one of the best like actions being caught actually on a camera that has ever been. But like there's so much going on in that moment, like to save your mentor, to be caught between your mentor and your love interest, and like there's just a lot of things going on, and for all that action to be coming in the middle of it. And obviously the train, like the train fight, or the fight in the train station, where like I still want dust to come off of me like that. Like I don't, God, like it just pops off of him just from one move. I mean, like those are like my iconic moments that I could always think about, and like how well they did that. It's one of those movies you watch I watch. There's some good movies that I watch every 2 years because I kind of forgot about them, and I'm so excited.
Matrix is such a good one of those movies.
Yeah.
It's a perfect movie for that. Perfect movie for that. Watch it every 2 years. You forget half of it. It's great. Absolutely.
This is great, man. This is great to
Matrix 4. It's coming. It's coming in December, so not that long away from that. Like not even like a half a year. Coming to you. Coming on HBO Max as well, so be able to watch it from home. I think we're gonna go watch this in the theater though. 100,000%.
I think when Matrix 4 comes out, we need to make a rule to not talk about the other Matrix movies in the review.
Okay, sure. Yeah, fair.
You and I can talk about the Matrix for hours.
All the time, always. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. We're Kinetic Impressions. Movie news. Drew, we are available on all platforms known to humanity. Please, let us know what your favorite part of the Matrix is. Also, what do you think this thing's all about? Matrix 4, it's real. Drew, what do we always tell the human beings of the internet?
I'm Andy D, and I tell people to go and fucking watch a movie. Go get out there, watch a movie.
Go watch a movie. You can do it now if you're vaccinated. Fuck yeah, woo! All right.
2 shots.
All right, let's do this thing again.
Hey, did we really talk about that for an hour and 11 minutes?
Did we? I don't think so. Is it? I don't know. It was like 9:40 when we started talking. Okay. I don't believe that. I vehemently don't believe that.
Okay.
Don't. An hour. No, it's only just 30 minutes. Your feet never stopped.
How?
Okay. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. All right, let's queue up the next one, which should be fun, and then we're getting the fuck out of here. I'm gonna change my background to be red. I don't know why, because I feel like doing it. All right, ladies and gentlemen. You ready to restart, Drew?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, God.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Kinetic Impressions. I'm Arnie.
Andy.
Movie news, and there's a lot of it. Specifically, we're going to be talking about a little thing known as Movie Pass. Now, Movie Pass, if you didn't know, Movie Pass is a service that for $9.95, you can watch as many movies as you want.
Yeah.
Thing is, this company didn't really make a lot of money, and people use that service a lot. I used it all the time, always. Dude, did you have MoviePass?
I did. I was one of the first. Dude, I was one of the backers that signed up for email updates when MoviePass was going to come out. And I was one of the first
all right, power user.
I was one of the first adopters of MoviePass. I want to say like the first time I used it was like almost 2015, 2016,
2015 shit, yeah.
I don't know when it came out. I don't know.
Founded in 2011 and headquarters in New York City, the service allowed subscribers to purchase up to 3 movie tickets per month for a monthly fee. Now, the reason we're talking about this today is because a story came out on the slashfilms.com that details all the details of the behind the scenes of MoviePass. I'm going to read a little bit of it, and I just want to react to it because it's kind of crazy. Okay, so from slashfilm.com, article entitled "MoviePass intentionally stopped customers from seeing movies, like liars." That's where we're starting. Okay, the many lies of MoviePass. One way MoviePass tried to quell the sale of movie tickets was by invalidating their users' passwords and claiming that fraud was detected on customers' accounts. This wasn't an isolated incident either, because it's estimated that 75,000 users had this practice used on them. In fact, some customers ended up locked out of their accounts because the process of resetting their password after invalidation didn't work properly. MoviePass intentionally made it to where you can't use their service.
So real quick, I want to talk to you about how this service works, because if you don't have it and we just read about it, it's not the same. Okay, so you have a MoviePass app, right? You sign up for MoviePass. You wait 1 to 3 weeks once you've signed up for this service. You then get a credit card or a debit card with your name on it in the mail. Okay? Once you have this debit card, I was gonna go grab it because I have mine in my backpack.
Nice.
And it says MoviePass on it. All right. Once you have that card, you then download the app. This was like too complicated. It was too complicated for my mom. I didn't want to get I wanted my mom to get it. It was too complicated to explain to her, however. So I canceled that. So then you download the app. You go to the movie that you want to see. Within an hour of movie starting, not like you couldn't do it in advance. You had to be within a mile radius of the movie theater that you were going to go to. It location tracked you. You had to then check in, like, let's say we were going to go see Cruella. Okay? We had to go into that area within a mile, go to that movie theater, say, I want to check in to see Cruella. When I checked in to go see Cruella, it would automatically load an approved, let's say $14 onto the card. I couldn't get $16 to go see the 3D version or the Adobe Roundtown, like any kind of extra feature, or the IMAX is what I was actually thinking of, like the IMAX or the 3D. It wouldn't give you go see those versions of that movie. You could only see the regular version, and it would load a proper amount of money. You would then go up to the window, say, I would like to buy a ticket, and then you could buy it on the credit card. And that was the way the process worked. So when you say all these frauds and stuff like that, I got in trouble because on my card, I had MoviePass twice. I had it once when I lived in Dallas, and then I had it again in New York. And when I had it in Dallas, they didn't like that I had paid the extra $2 to see this version. So what I had done was like charge me for $14 because that's all I'm approved for on this. I checked into the movie, I bought it, and so like I would try to beat the system as many times times as I can, including if I didn't, I would go another movie that I wasn't going to see. I would go say that I'm going to watch the kid movie of that time. And I'm telling you how to, like, how I beat the system. Don't arrest me or anything. But what I would do was I would go do a rain check on the movie ticket. So I had the movie ticket in hand. I already purchased it with Movie Pass. I would go back to the counter and say I'd like a rain check for this movie. And as long as I showed up to a movie theater every day and did that, I could have 3 rain checks for Alamo Drafthouse to go see whatever movie I wanted.
Wow.
Now,
yeah, but you're still paying a monthly fee for this.
Yes.
So they literally give you 3 times the amount of money into your account to watch a single movie.
No, not
then
3
you
times.
would pay a month.
Oh yes, yeah.
Right, 3 times a month, right? Yeah. Actually, I heard a story similar to that where you would be able to go to a movie theater. They would still load that much money into the card, but say a movie theater was doing a half price night. If you had that $17, if you bought a movie ticket that was half price, say it was instead of $10, it was $5, you would still have that pre-approved amount of money, so you could buy multiple tickets in one night if that movie was half price, because they would just load that much money onto your account. People were doing that too.
Oh no, I used to do that all the time.
Yeah. Like matinees would be cheaper.
No, well, AMC used to have like Tuesday $5 movies.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that they're trying to bring back for sure.
So like I used to go to AMC Tuesday night movies and then buy 2 tickets with 1 movie ticket preloaded on my card, and like, it would work. And so like Movie Pass had a lot of flaws that like even my dumb brain could get past to skim the system. They cracked down on a lot of those the second time around when I had it, and it made it honestly more difficult for the customer. I want to say like breaking the rules and the ease of the customer was a lot easier in the beginning, and then and then towards the end, they would say that like they would do this password thing on me in New York. They would say that I was not at the right, like, they would say I didn't go watch the right movie, and then they would charge me because, you know, like my credit card is on file for them because I pay them a monthly fee. So they would charge me the movie ticket price because they thought I frauded them. And I want to say the second time around that I had them, I did not fraud them at all. I tried to legitimately just go watch a movie, you know, once a week. Like how I thought that process should be was I'm going to watch 1 movie a week and take advantage of this service.
Yeah.
And like they became a very bad company to like, they didn't like certain movies in certain theaters. They didn't like certain theaters. It was impossible. Like in New York, it was impossible to find a theater with the movie I wanted that was available on Movie Pass. It was just too impossible.
Right on. I mean, it kind of makes sense why they failed then, because it didn't really look like they actually kept track of movie prices. They literally just dumped a chunk of cash that was probably the average or above average of what a movie ticket would be costing, right? To kind of just make sure that their customers were kind of happy. I do want to read a little bit more from the article here. So this investigation that this is actually highlighting is from the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. So, quote from the article, finally, MoviePass also blocked power users from using the service. Customers who saw more than 3 movies per month, thus contributing to the company's lack of profit, were locked out of the service when they became too costly to the company. Did you ever experience a complete lockout for no reason?
Yeah, like they locked me out of my app once, and I was like there to see a movie, and then I think that's actually when I canceled them, was because I wanted to go see this movie. I was there to check in, and all of a sudden, like when I checked in, it glitched, logged me out, and then my password, blah blah blah. But I was already at the movie theater to go see this movie, so I like sat in the lobby trying to fix this, and I called somebody, and then I had somebody on the phone. They still couldn't get they still wouldn't give me they wouldn't fix my account to go see this movie. So I said, pretty much said F them, and I went to go watch the movie on my own dime. And I was like, cool, this is when I'm finally done with the thing with Movie Pass. And I ended up, New York was one of the first places to beta their like subscription service at Alamo Drafthouse. So then I started doing the Alamo Drafthouse, and honestly, that has been my favorite subscription so far, and it's so much more money, but it feels like I feel like they're getting it because every time I go, they're getting their money's worth, and I'm getting my money's worth. I'll see four movies within a month, and I'll pay them a lot of money because I'll go have a beer and eat some food. I think Alamo Drafthouse is where that works the best.
For sure, and they do have a new service coming out as well. I think you can jump on it. I am actually on the waiting list for that, but I'm currently not going to go jump on any new services for the current time being, for sure. Right. This is like, it's interesting. I guess this is like the same thing that happens with Silicon Valley companies. Like just give outlandish promises and don't deliver. And then when things start to go south, they just start to get desperate and do these really crazy, shady things to try to keep themselves afloat. Witnessed by the guys who put together that one documentary about what was it, Pablo Escobar festival, Fire Fest. It's all the same. It's all the same people, man. Silicon people trying to put some stuff together. It's nuts. It's crazy this is coming out now. It kind of makes sense. You have to investigate what's happening. I like that you actually have a first-person account of everything that happened. I was really ecstatic about the service. It was around for a few years and definitely was on my radar, but I just never paid for it because it was always plagued with problems. It was always kind of a weird model. They really started to do a push during the last part of it, and then some really wacky stuff happened to them.
I had them in 2017 and 2018, and I remember on these, all these slash films and film, the Screen Rant, I would watch the news of how they were going bankrupt.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day with MoviePass doesn't have enough money. And I would talk to my my girlfriend at the time, and I'm like, how are we still using this card? How is this still happening if every day I hear them being bankrupt? What's going on here?
Obviously they were just they were kicking people left and right off of the platform by just trying to stay afloat. It just screams of desperate company trying to stay alive.
There's a Marky Mark produced docuseries coming out. So,
oh really? About MoviePass? That's gonna be fun. Falk Wahlberg doing the story of MoviePass. I'm totally in for that, for sure. Right on. All right, brother. I think we did it. We talked about the people of MoviePass and the frivolous things they did to people. Ladies and gentlemen, we are Kinetic Impressions Movie News. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you had MoviePass, tell us about some of your experiences out there. That would be totally fun to kind of hear, for sure. All right. I am Arnie Diaz, and my homie
Andy
over here. What do we always tell the fine people of the internet, my friend?
Go watch a movie. Or a fucking movie. Either way.
Go watch a fucking movie. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a wonderful night, day, evening, whatever this is.